is they are very, very, very physical on defense. And I'm a defensive guy, so I don't mind the physicality. But the Bucks or the Chiefs did something stupid. They came out and they got chippy real fast. When you get chippy, you basically tell the refs, "Hey guys, you're gonna have to watch me real close all game because I'm liable to spit, kick, do all this kind of stuff. You're gonna have to watch me." When you put yourself on the radar that early, anything that looks like it brushes against that rule book, by the letter of the law, because with a lot of those, it's like, yeah, by the letter of the law, but is that, did it really impact anything? Yeah, um, you're not going to win those calls. And as much as everybody, wants to, like, is believing it's cracking me up on Facebook. The same people that are whining and complaining about the conspiracy theories of the election are now citing them again, right? It's like, okay. But ultimately, I don't know what it was with the Chiefs and their defense, but when they came out, they had too much attitude and too little action, and it just showed right in the beginning where it's just kind of like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you that uppity? And it reminded me of years ago when the last Cowboys and Steelers in the Super Bowl was that 98, whatever, 99, back then. If you remember,
That's
the Cowboys
90,
came out of the
95.
tunnel. Yeah, so 95 was the Bills. Or was it, I don't, whatever it was, that one. Cowboys came out of the tunnel, slow, just like, oh, we don't care. We're just here to screw around and play a game. Go with everybody else. And came out with all that attitude. And they won, but they won in large part because, when you got your offense looks like what their offense looks like, you can get away with a lot. But they played like garbage. And ultimately, it's like things didn't all go their way because they came out and told everybody, I have a bad attitude to play this game. And to sit here and pretend like emotions don't matter across the board is just one of those, if you want to be a champion, you're going to win in all phases of the game. And that is one of those phases that they just said, we don't need to worry about it.
Well, I mean, and on top of that, like you have to understand what the refs are doing for the game that you're in. Okay, we understand that largely they're trying to let people play, but this is a Super Bowl, the stakes are high. And if you know by the end of the first quarter they're gonna call you every time, maybe you just stop doing that.
Well, I would think that they would have been fair and gave Brady a flag too, because he went back and he went towards Tyrann Mathieu and jarred at him. So I'm thinking, okay, if they gave him a flag, they should have gave Brady a flag. And there goes that whole,
We don't
okay, this is
have that
Brady,
stuff
this is
set up
Tyrann Mathieu.
for instant play replay. No, we don't have that stuff set up for instant replay. And the first time I started playing football was the early 90s, and the rule is simple. The first guy never gets caught. It's always the second guy. So don't retaliate. And the reason why is we watch it at home. We get to see the whole thing. We get to see replays and all that. The refs, boom, it's gone. And what ends up happening is guy number one goes over there, does whatever he does. Spider senses go off for the refs. They turn to focus on that. Well, the first guy's already done. And so now the second guy does it.
He's innocently walking away, in fact.
Yep. Yeah, and it's one of those where it's like, is it fair? It's not fair. There's no that fairness. Nothing's fair. But if you're going to tell me that you play in the NFL and you're not aware of that little situation,
and not to mention,
I'm going to say that something smells.
You use the tools in your repertoire. If you know this team's coming out hot and they're not going to have self-control and discipline, absolutely you would go over there and try and get them to get a penalty. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yep.
You're trying to win a ring, man. This is not personal.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And I think the Chiefs on defense shot themselves in the foot with a poor attitude and they did not have that mental focus that they needed to have. And then absolutely. On offense, they just couldn't. They did too much trying to push the ball down the field because You saw it all game where it's like, okay, first down, and then they get the third down, and it's like you need 4 yards, but you threw the ball 50 yards down the field.
Right.
For what? Like, just get the first down and move the ball. It's like the Chiefs swinging for the fences every time, and like the great Casey,
So you think that Mahomes should have just took 5 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards, just to get down the field and then be able to score, correct?
I mean, absolutely, especially considering some of those long passes he threw were this shy of being intercepted.
Yeah.
No, I think you do what you need to do.
They were this shy to being a touchdown too.
I would say it's probably more like this.
Well, but you do what you need to do to win.
That's the thing is those decisions, yeah, if they make a touchdown, they look great. But if you don't make a touchdown and you're losing, they look dumb. Dumb as hell. All you needed 5 yards and you're trying to throw 50? Come on.
I'm just amazed to win he was going to the ground and he was able to throw almost 40 yards to the touchdown, which I'm just
But it wasn't a touchdown because he caught it out of bounds.
40 yards to one guy that somehow had 3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers on him. I'm thinking if 3 guys were there, he had an open guy somewhere. It's like, throw to him.
Exactly. And that's what I mean from earlier. Brady is sitting here patience and calm because he's been here 37,000 times before. This is Mahomes' second trip. At least in the recent picture, he's young. He's 24, I think we said at the end of the call. He doesn't have the experience.
He had something to prove. Like,
I have to win this game.
Spectacular. He wanted to have something like a catch moment, because
he needed something catchy for the replay.
Upstage Tom Brady.
Right. Well, and that's the problem, right? He was never going to do that, even if they won the game.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. And the thing I think is interesting is what got Mahomes to this point is being able to be young and cool under pressure and able to be mobile. And he kind of threw all that away for this one game because of whatever they came out on the field with, whatever attitudes they were going, and this sense of desperation and having to prove stuff.
Right.
You could almost say that Tom Brady catfished him. Got him hook, line, and sinker in there, thinking like, oh, he's gonna go do all this stuff, and this is so great. And then Tom Brady just sat back and said, "Yeah, none of that was real, homie."
He's like, I'm gonna win to you by black and white plays.
And the good news for Patrick Mahomes, let's not make sure we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. He'll be back. There's just no doubts about it. He will be back. He will win more, and he's going to learn. He's going to grow. And it's part of and different backgrounds, right? Different upbringings or different into the sport. Mahomes had a huge pile of expectations on him. They expect big things from him. They've always expected big things from him. Tom Brady was, hey, hopefully you'll be on the team for a while. And then it was like, hey, we won with you. Okay, great. This is good. Let's just keep rolling this. By the time we got to we expect big things from you, Tom Brady was a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
Like not just 1 or 2 years, but a seasoned veteran at that point. And it's like, because that was the thing, that first year relied heavily on their defense, which was fantastic. They just needed him, like, hey, just don't lose the games for us. And he didn't. And then they were like, well, what's weird? We struggled in that game. He kind of picked up the slack. And he transformed from don't lose the game to I'm going to carry you and win the game for you. As where, the expectations of Mahomes is go out there and win the game. And, I have to imagine that plays the sense of, hey, I can throw the ball 7 yards. I can throw the ball 30. 30 looks good, so I'm going to take the long shot. And I could get that in the beginning of the game. You do that. That's in the mindset. But somewhere in there, as time goes on, something's got to click for him, for Andy Reid, for the whole team that says, you know what? They're not giving us over the top. Let's take what's underneath.
Well, I mean,
they can't double everybody.
There's one consistent thing here, and that is we do expect great things from Mahomes, right? We do expect you to make those great plays. but not every drive and not every year. It's going to take time. You have to be patient. If it's not working this way, you have to change your approach to fit the circumstances that you're in right now. Not what you think you should be doing, but what you can do based on what's in front of you.
Correct. I think that's just something, he'll learn over time and he'll be fine. And hopefully, they'll settle down on the offense side. Because I keep going back to it, but I just didn't understand throwing the ball down the field when the Bucks are sending 4 guys and getting a ton of pressure with 4 guys. When they blitz, they got in his face. But every time there was pressure, if they're doing that, especially with the Buccaneers sending the corners and all that on these double corner blitzes, and you don't have, a hot route that's open right now. He's vacating an area, and you're running down the field. You're wide open right here, and we're going to wait and hope that we can squeeze one in right before we get a sack. And it's, there was just stuff in there where it was just, mentally, that was not a good outing.
Well, I did see some brilliance from Mahomes in this game. I'm not going to take anything away from the kid. He's a good player, and he did get through 3 defenders to the 1 guy. Unfortunately, it wasn't a touchdown.
It was and he's very humble. He was very humble after the game.
Yeah, character-wise, outside of the game, I think he's a gem. I've heard all good things. I have family in Kansas City area, so I've heard some really amazing things about the guy. So,
he's somebody that you just want to root for. You want him to win just on who he is. It's like you want him to win.
I wanted the Chiefs to win, but I was also wanting Tampa. I wanted Brady to win. And I told my wife that. I was like, I can't even believe I'm doing this, but I want Brady to win.
I know. 20 years ago, this was not the case. I can promise you. No, you wanted to, but it is a matter because it's a team sport, and Brady got there to Tampa and made everybody on that team better. Right. And they when they got as things started picking up and moving along, like when you look at somebody that can take a group of guys and get them to say, you know what, we can do this. It's not just hype. We can just go in here and do this. This is not. There's not a necessarily a magic wand because it's because this is the amazing part is Tom Brady can carry a team, yes, but when your quarterback makes everybody on your defense play better, even when your quarterback's struggling that day, but your defense still manages to play better. It's those off the field qualities that and those I think you're only getting those with time in the league. And I think Mahomes, he's kind of in that same boat, and his skills will only get better as time goes on in that regard. That what you call the intangible stuff. But yeah, it's like you want. It's like this was the conundrum. It's like you want Mahomes to win, but you're looking at Brady, and it's like, you know what, do it. And we would, because otherwise, for many reasons, we will. It wasn't because this is Super Bowl number 10, win number 7. 2 different teams, first year on this team. And it's the first team to win at home. It was like, when was that opportunity coming back? And so as far as making history goes, it was fantastic. And I think we started off and we said, where does Tom Brady go from here? 20 years ago, I said he can go straight to hell. Right now, he can go straight to the Hall of Fame. Because that's that. I'm pretty sure they've already got his spot picked out and everything, and the lights. They're working on that, and they get the acoustics right because he's like, and there's a period of time they have to wait, but whoever's in that class can just look at it and go like, well, one